Today on Make and Drink, we're going to be making White Creme de Cacao. Now, this is not a super popular or common ingredient, but it is used in some classic drinks like the Grasshopper, 20th Century Cocktail, and the Pago Pago Cocktail. The latter two I will be making in future episodes, and if they're done by now, I will have links for them in the description below. Now, you should be able to pick up a bottle of White Creme de Cacao at your local liquor store, definitely at your big box liquor stores, but in my experience, you're usually either going to find like a $5 to $10 cheap version or a $30 and over version, which I just personally have a tough time justifying buying. There's just so many other $30 to $40 bottles of other things I'd rather have on my shelf than white chocolate. So today I'll show you how to make two versions, an instant version that you can enjoy right now and a traditional steeped or infused version that you'll need to let infuse for 2 weeks. We'll make both of these and then taste test them to see which one is better and if there's any real difference between them at all. Now, I filmed the first steps of this 2 weeks ago, so here's how you make both versions of a White Creme de Cacao. You'll need vodka, white cacao butter, water, sugar, and vanilla extract. For the white cacao butter, you want to make sure this is safe for food use, and I'll have a link below for this bag that I used. And for each of these, I use 375 milliliters of vodka. That way, you can try to make both of these at home and use only one 750 milliliter bottle of vodka. So to make these, put 375 milliliters of vodka into each container. Four ounces of white cacao butter into each container. And half a cup of water into both containers. Now add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to each. The infused version will live in the sealed mason jar for 2 weeks, and you should shake it a couple times each day. For the instant or the blender version, I added half a cup of sugar, but for the version that will steep for 2 weeks, we're gonna leave out the sugar and we're gonna add that after our 2-week infusion. The blender version is ready, and once done, we'll strain through a coffee filter and then bottle. All right, so it's been 2 weeks of infusion for the mason jar version, and I have my blender version all ready to go. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna strain this and add our half a cup of sugar. We're gonna add our sugar. Kind of hoping here that we can get this to dissolve without having to put it on heat, so let's see before we bottle it. All right, there's still some sugar that has not dissolved in our infused version. If you're in a hurry, you could put this on the stovetop and just maybe bring it to a simmer. I think if we just let it sit for a couple minutes, it'll dissolve on its own and we can give it a try. So if you're wondering why this one has less volume, it's because I made this one 2 weeks ago and I've used it to make a couple of cocktails since then. So I have already tried it out. It tasted fine to me, but I didn't have anything to base that against. So we'll do a taste test against the infused version. And then just to throw in a little wild card, we will test it against Tempus Fugit. Now this is not a white creme de cacao, so it's not a sort of equal comparison, but I've noticed that in the Tempus Fugit, it definitely has this like vanilla chocolatey to it. So just to give us like a baseline for a regular commercial and high-end creme de cacao. Tempest Fugit has like a more viscous, it's a little thicker, more round mouthfeel. Obviously, it's different. It has vanilla, and it is just using, you know, chocolate. This is confounding. I'm getting more chocolate from the instant version. So that's the instant version that we made and I bottled 2 weeks ago. So nothing in the last 2 weeks is imparting more flavor to it. So if I was going to recommend a version to make, I would say go with the instant version. If you have a blender, there's no reason to. And I'm not that surprised because all of the recipes I found online, people were taking giant blocks or chunks of white creme de cacao and steeping them in vodka. Now, vodka is not going to dissolve those solids, so you can imagine there's a lot of solids in there, some big chunks of creme de cacao that are not losing flavor over those 2 weeks. Now, maybe if you waited longer, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a couple months, sure, maybe that would impart more flavor. But I think using the blender and making all of those pieces as small as possible, you're doing a rapid infusion, and I think that that is going to get you a much better result than anything like this, where you're using these large chunks that sit in the vodka for 2 weeks. All right, that's it for this one. That is white creme de cacao, an ingredient you didn't know that you needed, and you still might not need. But if you do need one in the pinch, I would go with the instant version over the infused version, even if you have the 2 to 3 weeks of time to infuse it. So let me know if you have made your own white creme de cacao and if you think it's better than the store-bought version. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Otherwise, see you in the next one.